So let's start working with the form that we have here on the left. If you remember, we already added this event listener. So we're gonna remove this. And we're gonna read the values from the budget form. So we're going to have something like this, cons, and we're gonna add expense. Name is going to be equals. And here on the form, for example, if I scroll a little, you can see that this ID for the expense name is called expense, and for the amount is called amount. So we're going to open the app.js, read the input values. We're going to add const. Expense name is going to be equals to document dot query selector, and we're going to add expense that value. It's going to give that value from the input. Then const amount is going to be the document query selector, and we're going to pass amount as the selector. We're going to use value to access this. Then we're going to check if the expense name is empty or the amount is also empty. We are going to console log something like invalid, and in the case that both have something, we're gonna add console.log correct. Just to make a quick test, we're gonna add $1, and let's try to submit this without any values. We're gonna click here on submit. You can see that the value printed was invalid. It really flashed really fast, so we're gonna add prevent default, something I forgot to add. So then we're gonna add $1. So let's say that we want to submit this empty. Try to click here on add, and it's going to print invalid. Add something here, something like this. You can see it's going to print correct. So right here we need to call the instantiate of the current instance of the HTML class. We're gonna add HTML, and we're gonna create a new method that is called print message. We're gonna pass two different items in this one. There was an error. It's going to be the message. All the fields are mandatory, and we're gonna pass a class, alert danger. This project is built using Bootstrap, so alert danger is a class that you will find on Twitter Bootstrap. So we need to write this print message. So we're gonna scroll to the top, and right here I'm going to add displays a message, correct or invalid. We're gonna create also the correct message in just a little. So this is going to take a message and also a class name. We're giving the class. You can see we're passing also alert danger. So right here I'm gonna create a new const, and we're gonna call this one message wrapper. It's going to be equals to document create element, and we're gonna create a new div. So from here we're gonna start adding some properties into this new div. We're gonna add a class list dot add, and we're gonna add several classes. Text center, so this is going to center the text. Also alert, this is a Bootstrap class, and also we're going to pass this class name. So this is going to create three different classes, or this is going to add three different classes into this div. Then we're going to add a text inside this div, message wrapper, append child, and we're gonna add document dot create text node, and we're gonna pass the message. This message here, in this case, this message is printing there was an error, but we can also use this method to pass something like valid or something like that with a different class. Also, we're gonna do that in upcoming videos. Finally, we're gonna use insert before to insert this. If I open the code, I'm gonna add $1 right here. If you inspect this, you can see that we have two main classes. Right here, you can see we have content, and we have primary right here, so we're gonna use that. So we're gonna use document, insert into HTML. We're gonna add a document dot query selector, and we're gonna pass primary. Then a dot, insert before, and remember, insert before takes two parameters. First one is going to be message wrapper, and second one is going to be the node reference. In this case, we already have this add expense for, so we're gonna use this as the reference. So save this. Let's add $500 and try to submit this empty. And now you can see there was an error. All the fields are mandatory, and it's printing this because we're using some Twitter Bootstrap classes. Here on the error, we're passing alert danger. This is going to print the alert in red color, and right here, scroll to the top, we're passing text center and alert, and passing also that class name. So you can see that this is going to be all the time right here. So right after this, I'm gonna create a set timeout function. Clear the error from the previous function. We're gonna add set timeout, and we're gonna call a function. This is going to remove this after 3 seconds. Of course, you can increase that value or remove that value. And we're gonna, you can see that we are adding this class alert. So we're gonna use this class as a selector, query selector, and we're gonna use primary and alert, and we're gonna use remove. So this is going to remove the alert after 3 seconds. So let's add another budget, 500. Try to submit this without anything. It's going to print the alert. After 3 seconds, the alert is gone. You can also add something like add expense form and reset. So if the user tries to add something like this, only one field, and add, you can see there was an error, and it's going to remove everything from the form. But of course, this is up to you. In this case, I'm gonna comment this line. So in the next video, I'm gonna scroll to the bottom. We're gonna start working with this else section of this else portion of the code, and we're gonna start adding the expenses into the list.